Let's look at a short physics experiment. I am sure most of you know this already. I have two glass slides here with me. When I bring them close and separate them, I can do that very easily. Now let's put a few drops of water in between the slides. As you can see, water is holding the slides together and it is very difficult to separate them now. This is because of the surface tension of the water. From the video clip, I wanted you to understand how the pleural fluid holds both the layers of the pleura together. So as we already know, the outer pleura is attached to the inner surface of the thoracic wall, the inner pleura is attached to the lungs, and the pleural fluid holds both the layers of the pleura together. And just like how the glass slides were sticking with each other because of the surface tension of the water, the pleural fluid sticks both the layers of the pleura strongly with each other. During inspiration, the chest wall moves outwards and the diaphragm pulls downwards. This results in expansion of the thoracic chamber. When the thoracic chamber expands, it pulls the outer pleura with it. The outer pleura pulls the inner pleura with it, and the inner pleura pulls the lungs with it. Because of this arrangement, expansion of thoracic chamber results in expansion of the lungs. This implies that increase in volume of the thoracic chamber results in increase in volume of the lungs. Again, in this diagram, during inspiration, the diaphragm contracts and the external intercostal muscles contract. Contraction of diaphragm and the contraction of the external intercostal muscles increase the volume of the thorax. Diaphragm increases the anterior-posterior axis and contraction of external intercostal muscles increase the dorsoventral axis. This results in increase in volume of the thoracic chamber and also of the lungs. Lungs contain elastic fibers. Due to the presence of the elastic fibers, the lungs have a property which is known as the elastic recoil of the lungs. For example, if you have a rubber band and you pull it with your hands, it becomes stretched. When you let it go and there is no force pulling the rubber band, the elastic material in the rubber band brings it back to its original shape and size. During expiration, the diaphragm and the external intercostal muscles relax. So there is no external force pulling the lungs. The elastic recoil of the lungs try to bring the lungs back into the original shape. And the lungs pull the inner layer of pleura with them. The inner layer of pleura pulls the outer layer of pleura, and the outer layer pulls the wall of the thoracic chamber with it. This results in decrease in volume of the lungs and of the thoracic chamber. The same thing is represented in this diagram as well. Boyle's law helps us understand the relation between volume and pressure in the lungs. It states that volume and pressure are inversely related. When volume increases, pressure decreases, and when volume decreases, pressure increases. During inspiration, diaphragm and external intercostal muscles contract, and as we have discussed earlier, this results in increase in volume of the lungs and the thoracic chamber. As per the Boyle's law, when volume increases, pressure decreases. The pressure inside the lungs, that is the intrapulmonary pressure, decreases, and when this pressure falls below the atmospheric pressure, air moves inside the lungs. Normal expiration is a passive process. It does not require contraction of any muscles. So, in normal expiration, the diaphragm and external intercostal muscles relax, and the elastic recoil of the lungs decreases the volume of the lungs and the volume of the thoracic chamber. Again, as per Boyle's law, when volume decreases, pressure increases, and when the pressure inside the lungs, that is the intrapulmonary pressure, is more than the atmospheric pressure, air moves out. Forceful expiration is an active process. Contraction of internal intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles help us to forcefully breathe out. Number of breaths we take in a minute is called as the respiratory rate. At rest, adult respiratory rate is about 12 to 16 breaths per minute. Spirometer is a device which estimates volume of air moving in and out during breathing. It has tubing attached to it with a mouthpiece, and the patient is asked to breathe in and out in the mouthpiece. The device then calculates different lung volumes and capacities. This is also known as pulmonary function tests. Respiratory volumes and capacities. This diagram represents different respiratory volumes. Let's look at them one by one. Tidal volume is the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. In adults, it is approximately 500 ml. If you are sitting or lying down and listening to this lecture, the amount of air you are taking in with each inspiration and the amount of air you are breathing out with each expiration is your tidal volume. Yellow marking in the diagram indicates the tidal volume. The second is the inspiratory reserve volume. It is the additional volume of air you can breathe in by forceful inspiration. Now let's do this together. Take a normal breath. Now try to inspire forcefully as much as you can. This is the inspiratory reserve volume. In adults, it is about 2500 ml to 3000 ml, and it is indicated by the green color in the diagram. You have to remember that it does not include tidal volume. The third volume is the expiratory reserve volume. It is the additional volume of air one can expire by forceful expiration. Again, let's do this together. Take a normal expiration. Now try to forcefully breathe out as much as you can. This is the expiratory reserve volume. It is indicated by the pink color in the diagram. You can see that it does not include tidal volume. In adults, it is about 1000 to 1100 ml. The fourth volume is the residual volume. It is the volume of air remaining in the lungs even after forceful expiration. Even when you try to remove as much air from your lungs as you can by maximum expiration, there is some amount of air remaining in the alveoli, and it prevents the alveoli from collapsing. The residual volume is indicated by yellow color in the diagram. In adults, the residual volume is about 1100 to 1200 ml. These respiratory volumes can be added up in different ways, and different respiratory capacities can be derived from them. The first capacity is the inspiratory capacity. It is the total volume of air a person can inspire after normal expiration. It includes the tidal volume and the inspiratory reserve volume. Second capacity is the expiratory capacity. It is the total volume of air a person can expire after normal inspiration. Expiratory capacity includes tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume. Functional residual capacity is the volume of air that will remain inside the lungs after a normal expiration. It includes expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. Vital capacity is the maximum volume of air a person can breathe in after a forceful expiration, or the maximum volume of air a person can breathe out after a forceful inspiration. It includes inspiratory reserve volume, tidal volume, and expiratory reserve volume. If a person is at maximum inspiration and now he is breathing air out of his lungs, and as he tries to breathe maximum air out of his lungs, after maximum expiration, only residual volume is remaining inside his lungs. So he has removed his inspiratory reserve volume, his tidal volume, and his expiratory reserve volume. This is the vital capacity. Similarly, a person after forceful expiration has only residual volume in his lungs, and as he breathes into his maximum capacity, this is his vital capacity. It includes inspiratory reserve volume, tidal volume, and expiratory reserve volume. Total lung capacity is the total volume of air accommodated in the lungs at the end of a forced inspiration. It includes residual volume, expiratory reserve volume, tidal volume, and inspiratory reserve volume. We can also say that it includes vital capacity plus residual volume. In the next video, we will discuss about exchange of gases, transport of gases, and regulation of respiration. Thank you for your patient hearing.